Today we are going to learn about Pseudomonas aeruginosa and Burkholderia species. Pseudomonas aeruginosa and Burkholderia malai and Burkholderia pseudomalai are gram-negative rods 0.5 to 1 to 5 micrometer, which are obligate aerobes and oxidized carbohydrate. Most isolate are oxidation negative and catalase positive. They are motile by one or more polar flagella, with the exception of Burkholderia malai, which is non-negative, non-motile. The majority of these organisms have no special growth requirement and grow well on the McConkey agar. Burkholderia malai require 1% glycerol in media for optimal growth and it is non-motile. Pseudomonas aeruginosa characterized by production of the diffusible pigment caused a variety of opportunistic infection in wide range of animals. A number of other Pseudomonas species may be isolated from clinical specimen. Pseudomonas fluorescens and Pseudomonas putida occasionally infect freshwater fish. Burkholderia species previously classified in the genus Pseudomonas include Burkholderia malai, the cause of glandular, and Pseudomonas and Burkholderia pseudomalai, that is the cause of melioidosis. Both diseases are zoonosis or zoonotic disease. Usual habitat. Pseudomonas species are environmental organisms which occur worldwide in water and soil and on plant. Pseudomonas aeruginosa is found on the skin, on mucous membrane and in feces. Burkholderia pseudomalai, which is found in soil, occasionally infect animal and man. Wild rodent can act as reservoir of this organism. It is widely distributed in some tropical and subtropical regions of South Asia and Australia. Although Burkholderia malai can survive in the environment for up to 6 weeks, its reservoir is infected equidae. So here, the Pseudomonas species are the environmental organism, whereas Burkholderia pseudomalai found in soil infect animal and man, and wild rodent can act as reservoir of this organism. Although it can survive for up to 6 weeks, its reservoir is infected equidae. Differentiation of Pseudomonas and Burkholderia species. The comparative colonial and biochemical features of this organism are presented in 19.1. Here, the colonial morphology of Pseudomonas aeruginosa, Burkholderia malai, and Burkholderia pseudomalai. Colonial morphology: large and flat with serrated edges, white and smooth becoming granular and brown with age. Ranges from smooth and mucoid to rough and dull, becoming yellowish brown with age. Hemolysis on blood agar, Burkholderia malai, no hemolysis. Diffusible pigment, Pseudomonas aeruginosa. Okay, क्योंकि Pseudomonas aeruginosa pigment characteristic शो करता है, so diffusible pigment production here. And hemolysis on blood agar, it's not the characteristic feature of Burkholderia malai. Colony order grape-like of Pseudomonas aeruginosa, Burkholderia malai no characteristic, and musty Burkholderia pseudomalai. Growth on McConkey agar, all of them show growth on McConkey agar. Growth at 42 degrees Celsius, shown by Pseudomonas aeruginosa and Burkholderia pseudomalai, not by Burkholderia malai. Oxidase production shown by Pseudomonas aeruginosa and Burkholderia pseudomalai, but the 25% of the strains are negative in Burkholderia malai. Oxidation of glucose, lactose, sucrose. Oxidation of glucose occurs in all. Oxidation of lactose in Burkholderia pseudomalai and sucrose occur in 75% of strain in Burkholderia pseudomalai. So coming on to the next, many Pseudomonas species produce pigments. Pseudomonas aeruginosa strains can form up to 4 diffusible pigments. Box 19.1. Okay, so pigments by Pseudomonas aeruginosa, you can see down here, left side corner, pyocyanin blue-green, pyoverdin greenish yellow, pyorubin red, and pyomelanin brownish black. So these are 4 pigments: pyocyanin, verdin, rubin, and melanin. Pyocyanin, unique to the organism, is produced by most strain and specifically identifies by the Pseudomonas aeruginosa. Pyocyanin enhancing media are available for isolates which are weak pyocyanin producer. Pigment production is observed most clearly on the media without dyes, such as nutrient agar. Pyorubin, pyomelanin develops slowly and may be detectable after incubation for 1 to 2 weeks. Red and brown. Okay, colonies of Burkholderia pseudomalai and Burkholderia malai become brownish with age but do not produce the pigments. The majority of the Pseudomonas and Burkholderia species are motile. Absence of motility distinguishes Burkholderia malai from the other members of the group. Clinical infection: Burkholderia malai is a major pathogen of the equidae, causes both acute and chronic disease. It manifests mainly as a lesion in the skin and the respiratory tract. Infection with the Burkholderia pseudomalai can cause the chronic suppurative lesion in the lungs and other organs of wide range of species. In contrast, Pseudomonas aeruginosa, it is opportunistic pathogen which may cause acute systemic disease. So Pseudomonas causes acute systemic disease, whereas Burkholderia pseudomalai causes the chronic suppurative lesion. The Pseudomonas aeruginosa infection causes a wide range of opportunistic infection. Table 19.2. Okay, so here the cattle, in case of cattle, mastitis, pneumonia, dermatitis, enteritis in calf. In case of sheep, mastitis, fleas, rot, pneumonia, otitis media. In case of pig, respiratory infection, otitis. In case of horse, genital tract infection, pneumonia, ulcerative keratitis. In case of dog and cat, otitis externa, cystitis, pneumonia, ulcerative keratitis. In case of mink, hemorrhagic pneumonia, septicemia. In case of chinchillas, pneumonia, septicemia. In case of reptile, necrotic stomatitis. So here, although predisposing factors are associated with occurrence of many of these infections, some species such as farmed mink appear to be particularly susceptible to the organism. That is, in case of mink, hemorrhagic pneumonia and septicemia caused by the Pseudomonas aeruginosa occur sporadically in ranch enriched milk with mortality rate up to 50% in the outbreak. Bovine mastitis associated with this organism is often linked to the contaminated water used for udder washing or the insertion of contaminated intramammary antibiotic tube. So, by contamination or contamination of the water used for the udder washing or the insertion of the contaminated intramammary antibiotic tubes, this result in the bovine mastitis caused by Pseudomonas aeruginosa. Fleece rot of sheep, a condition associated with heavy or prolonged rainfall, have been reported from UK and Australia. Maceration of the skin surface following water penetration of the fleece allows colonization by the Pseudomonas aeruginosa, resulting in suppurative dermatitis. So in case of sheep, fleece rot, suppurative dermatitis condition. The bluish green pyocyanin pigment, okay, blue-green pyocyanin pigment produced by Pseudomonas aeruginosa discolors the wool. So, which pigment is associated with discoloration of the wool in this outbreak is pyocyanin pigment. Pseudomonas aeruginosa, it is an objective question that pyocyanin is blue-green color pigment produced by Pseudomonas aeruginosa is often found in the oral cavity of the snakes and cause the necrotic stomatitis in the captive reptiles. So, in case of snake, the oral cavity consists of Pseudomonas aeruginosa. The inhabitants are Pseudomonas aeruginosa in case of oral cavity of snake, and it will result in reptile necrotic stomatitis. So, it is an important condition. Are kept under the poor husbandry condition. Pathogenesis and pathogenicity. Pathogenic strains of Pseudomonas aeruginosa produce a wide variety of toxin and enzymes which promote the tissue damage, invasion damage. Okay, invasion damage. Followed damage why? Because of the penetration. Attachment to the host cell is mediated by the fimbriae. Okay, production of toxin, enzyme, attachment to the host cell by the fimbriae. Colonization and the replication are aided by the antiphagocytic property of the exoenzyme S. So here, objective question: the antiphagocytic activity of exoenzyme S resulted in colonization and replication. Extracellular slime and outer membrane lipopolysaccharide. So slime layer, membrane polysaccharide, and antiphagocytic activity of the exoenzyme S resulted in colonization and replication. Resistant to the complement-mediated damage and ability to maintain the iron from the host tissues are additional influence factor. So in order for the uptake of iron or for the resistant of complement-mediated damage, this antiphagocytic property of exoenzyme S prevent bacterial destruction. Tissue damage is caused by the toxins such as the exotoxin A, phospholipase C, and protease. So the tissue damage is caused by which toxin? Exotoxin A, phospholipase C, and protease. Exotoxin A is a bipartite toxin with binding and active component. Bipartite toxin with binding and active component. The active component, once internalized in a cell, block protein synthesis by ADP, ribosylation, and elongation of factor 2 with resultant cell death. So the active component, once internalized in a cell, blocks the protein synthesis by the ADP, ribosylation, and elongation of the factor 2 result in the cell death, and the cytoplasmic membrane of neutrophils are damaged by the leukocidin. So the cytoplasmic membrane of the neutrophil are damaged by the leukocidin. Okay, dissemination is aided by the exoenzyme S, and systemic toxicity is attributed to exotoxin A and endotoxin. So the spread of the disease, exoenzyme S, and toxicity from exotoxin A from endotoxin or phospholipase C or protease. The host defense mechanism against Pseudomonas aeruginosa include opsonizing antibodies and phagocytosis by the macrophage. So the host defense mechanisms are opsonizing antibodies and phagocytosis by the macrophage. So the line of defense here is macrophage. Diagnostic procedure specimen for laboratory examination include pus, respiratory aspirates, midstream urine. So the sample collection for Pseudomonas aeruginosa infection is midstream urine, pus, respiratory aspirates, mastitic milk, and ear swab. Blood agar and McConkey agar plate inoculated with suspect material are incubated aerobically at 37 degrees Celsius for 24 to 28 hours. Identification criteria for isolates: colonial morphology and characteristic fruity grape-like production, grape-like odor production, pyocyanin production, the pigment blue-green, lactose negative, pale colonies on the McConkey agar. So this is lactose negative. Okay, lactose negative Pseudomonas aeruginosa, sucrose negative, triple sugar iron agar unextinct, and glucose positive, oxidase positive. Glucose positive, oxidase positive. Lactose negative, pale colonies at McConkey agar. Treatment and control: the predisposing causes and sources of infection should be identified where possible and eliminated. Pseudomonas aeruginosa is extremely resistant to many antibiotics, and susceptible testing should be carried out on isolates. A combination of either zentamicin or tobramycin with either carbonicillin or tetracycline or tetracycline. So the combination of zentamicin or tobramycin with either carbonicillin or tetracycline may be affected. Vaccine may be required for farmed mink and chinchillas as there are antigenic difference between the strains. So polyvalent or autogenous formalin-killed bacterians should be developed. So polyvalent vaccine are developed. Autogenous formalin-killed bacterians should be employed. Humoral antibodies induced by the polyvalent exotoxin A polysaccharide vaccine appears to be productive because okay, जो बहुत ही ज़्यादा virulent होगा किसी भी टॉक्सिन की वजह से, जो बहुत ही ज़्यादा टॉक्सिन प्रोडक्शन कर रहा है एक्सोटॉक्सिन ए, उसी के अगेंस्ट अगर हम वैक्सीन प्रोडक्शन कर दें तो जो ह्यूमोरल एंटीबॉडी जनरेट होगी it will appear to be protective. Glanders caused by Burkholderia malayi is a contagious disease of equidae characterized by formation of nodule and ulcer in the respiratory tract or on the skin. Humans and carnivores are also susceptible to the infection. Once worldwide in distribution, glanders have been eradicated from most developed countries, but sporadic cases of disease occur in the Middle East, India, Pakistan, and China. So the glanders, it is very contagious disease caused by Burkholderia malayi. Characteristic feature is that formation of nodule and ulcer in the respiratory tract or on the skin. Human and carnivores are also susceptible to the infection. Human and carnivores are susceptible to the infection, and nodules and ulcer appear on the skin or the respiratory tract. Glanders have been eradicated from most of the developed country. The disease is reported to be endemic in Mongolia. Transmission follows ingestion of food or water contaminated by the nasal discharge of the infected equidae. Less commonly, infection may be acquired by inhalation or through the skin abrasion. An acute septicemic form of the disease is characterized by fever, mucopurulent nasal discharge, and respiratory sign. Death usually follows within a few weeks. Chronic cases, disease is more common and present as nasal, pulmonary, and cutaneous form, all of which may be absorbed in the affected animal. In the nasal form, ulcerative nodules developed on the mucosa of the nasal septum and the lower part of the turbinate. A purulent blood-stained nasal discharge and regional lymphadenopathy are usually present. So oozing out of blood-stained nasal discharge. The ulcer eventually heal, leaving the star-shaped scars, characteristic feature of glanders which differentiate it from strangles. The respiratory form is characterized by the respiratory district and the development of tubercle-like lesion throughout the lungs. So it is respiratory form. Okay. And the cutaneous form, termed Farsi, is a lymphanginitis, in which nodules occur along the lymphatic vessel of the limb. Ulcer develop and discharge a yellowish pus. Chronically affected animal may die after several months or may recover and continue to shed organism from the respiratory tract or skin. Carnivores may contract the disease by eating the infected carcass. So here the three forms were there: septicemic, nasal form. The chronic form are nasal form, pulmonary form, and the cutaneous form. And the other acute form is septicemic form. Pathogenesis. Glandar in the horse is usually chronic, disseminating deliberately disease, but the mechanisms of pathogenicity are not known. The presence of the Burkholderia malayi in the host gives rise to hypersensitivity reaction, the basis of the Malin test. The pathogenicity is not known and test used is Malin testing due to the hypersensitivity reaction caused by the pathogen. Burkholderia malayi. Diagnostic procedure. In the region where the disease is endemic, clinical signs may be diagnostic. Specimen for the laboratory diagnosis should include discharge from lesion and blood for serology. Specimen must be processed in a biohazard cabinet. Okay, so discharge from lesion and blood for serology. It is a zoonotic disease, so specimen processed in the biohazard cabinet. Burkholderia malayi grows on media containing 1% glycerol. It is an objective question, and most strains will grow on McConkey agar. Plates are incubated aerobically at 37 degrees Celsius for 2 to 3 days. Identification criteria for isolates: colonial characteristics. Majority strains grow on the McConkey agar without utilizing the lactose and comparatively unreactive, biochemical, and non-motile. So Burkholderia malayi is also lactose negative. Okay, the Melanin test is efficient field test both for confirmation and for screening in contact animal. Malin, a glycoprotein extract of the Burkholderia malayi, is injected intradermally just below the lower eyelid. It is a glycoprotein extract of Burkholderia malayi injected intradermally 0.1 ml just below the lower eyelid. A positive reaction is indicated by local swelling and mucopurulent ocular discharge. After 24 hours. Okay, so here the summary: medium-sized gram-negative rods, obligate aerobes. Most isolate are oxidase positive, catalase positive. Pseudomonas species and Burkholderia pseudomalayi are motile by polar flagella. Burkholderia malayi is non-motile, require 1% glycerol in media for optimal growth. Diffusible pigments are produced by Pseudomonas aeruginosa. Burkholderia malayi causes glanders, and Burkholderia pseudomalayi causes malodiosis. Point to be remember: malodiosis. Pseudomonas aeruginosa causes opportunistic infection, and Burkholderia malayi, that is glander. Now figure Pseudomonas aeruginosa on the sheep blood agar showing large, flat, irregular H colony. So the characteristic feature you can see in the picture, resembling the irregular H colony. The green-blue pyocyanin pigment is most obvious in area of the heaviest growth. So where there is heaviest growth, there is the blue-green pyocyanin pigment production. Pseudomonas aeruginosa on the McConkey agar, it has pale colonies of non-lactose fermenter with green-blue pyocyanin pigments superimposed. So it is they are non-lactose fermenter. McConkey agar, and this is blood agar, sheep blood agar, SB agar. Pseudomonas aeruginosa on brilliant green agar. So brilliant green agar, where the alkaline reaction is similar to that given by the Salmonella species. So this is brilliant green agar, and the alkaline reaction is similar to the Salmonella species. The metallic sheen displayed by the strain is the feature of some isolates. So metallic sheen is shown by E. coli as well as the Pseudomonas aeruginosa is an objective question on brilliant green agar. The reaction is similar to the Salmonella species, that is alkaline reaction. Burkholderia pseudomalayi on the McConkey agar. The Burkholderia malayi would not grow on the McConkey agar, and it is non-motile. Pigments produced by the Pseudomonas aeruginosa, the nutrient agar slope shown from the left: pyocyanin blue-green, pyoverdin greenish yellow, pyorubin red, and pyomelanin dark brown. Okay, Pseudomonas aeruginosa on the Pseudomonas agar plate, the medium enhances the production of the pyocyanin, that is greenish yellow pigment. 3 strains of Pseudomonas aeruginosa on Pseudomonas agar F left and on Pseudomonas agar P right. These media are used to enhance the pigment production. Okay. Burkholderia pseudomalayi smooth colonial form on sheep blood agar after several days incubation. The colonies are smooth, glistening, opaque, yellowish brown, and ambonate with a zone of clear hemolysis. So ambonate colonies of Burkholderia pseudomalayi. Burkholderia pseudomalayi causes malodiosis. Okay. So After 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 several days incubation, ambonate, glistening, smooth, opaque, yellowish brown with a zone of clear hemolysis. These are the picture of glandular. Clinical sign in human: localized infection, localized pain or swelling, fever, ulceration, abscess. Fever, ulceration, abscess, pulmonary cough, chest pain, high fever, headache, anorexia, maludiosis, bloodstream infection, fever, headache, respiratory distress, abdominal discomfort, joint pain, and disorientation. Disseminated infection, fever, weight loss, stomach, chest pain, muscle, joint pain, headache, and seizure. So, the form in human: localized infection, disseminated infection, bloodstream infection, and the pulmonary form of maludiosis caused by Pseudomonas, caused by Burkholderia pseudomallei. And these are the picture. Thank you.